Hello dear students, welcome on this e-learning platform of Apex Institute of Physics. And in this video lecture we will talk about discharging of a capacitor. If you have gone through the previous video, we talked about charging of a capacitor. Basically we are discussing about RC circuit, a circuit in which R for resistance, C for capacitor is connected. Now in this particular case, a capacitor is charged initially and this is being discharged by connecting it with resistance. So here I have shown two circuits. One is initially means a circuit when time was 0. So this is at t equal to 0. And at t equal to 0 the switch is open and this is a charged capacitor. Capacitance of this capacitor is C. And this plate is positively charged, this plate is negatively charged, and that means this is plus Q charge and this is a minus Q charge, and this is the resistance R. Switch is open, so this is charged capacitor connected with the resistance and the switch is open, so that this circuit is not connected and this capacitor will maintain its charge until you connect this. So let's say t equal to 0, this switch is being closed, so we are closing the switch so that this becomes a complete circuit and current can flow. Now what this capacitor is, it's a device that has a potential difference across it, and since this has a potential difference and resistance has no potential difference, so it will supply current or start supplying current, and current will move from its positive terminal and across this to the negative terminal. So how this circuit will appear after a certain time or at any instant later on, so at any instant time t, figure will be some sort of this. So what we are assuming at any time t, let's the charge on this capacitor C is now small q, and it is still positive, this is still negative, so q, small q charge is now left over. So initially it was capital Q, now the charge has become small q, and the current is I, the current I is running on it like this. So I is the instantaneous current, small q is the instantaneous charge. So we will know, we know the capacitor will have a potential difference as a q by C, and this will be a higher potential, this will be lower potential. Similarly, when the current I runs through a resistor, so potential difference becomes I into R. So I have written the potential difference as IR. Here the potential difference is q by C. Now it's ready for applying the Loops law, so we can apply Loops law over here. This is at any instant t. So there are two important points that we need to mention. First, the capacitor was initially charged and initial charge was Q, and this small q is indicating instantaneous charge on the capacitor at time t. So let me mention these 2 points. So we are assuming, that means let capacitor has initial charge Q, initial charge Q, and that Q is capital Q. We are also assuming or taking or letting this small q is charge on this capacitor at any time later t, so at time t. So these are the 2 points we are considering. Now based on these 2 points we can go forward and find out how this small q is related with time. That means how this q decreases over the time, and since we know this small q is going to decrease over the time, it will start from capital Q and turn up to 0 later on. So this decreasing will be indicating the discharging of the capacitor. So let's write this loops equation for this circuit at any time t. So what the loop equation will be, by now you will be able to write, or you should be able to write the loops equation properly. So let's say we are starting from this junction corner point, moving in the direction of current and coming back to this point. So when we start moving, so this will resistance we will encounter, and the resistance will have a potential drop of IR. And then we are going to move here we are moving from minus to plus, so that became gains. So this is minus q by C, and then the sum has to be 0 as per the rule. Now we want to simplify this, we can simplify this as I is equal to Q upon RC. So that's looks like equation we have got. Also we can make a relation between charge and this current. So let me write also we can have a relation, and that relation will be, now what this current is, this current, as the current moves the charge decreases. So here the rate of decrease of small q is indicating current. So we will write the definition of current will be I is equal to the rate at which the charge q decreases, that means dq by dt with a minus sign. I'm putting the minus sign because of the reason the rate of decrease of charge will be I. As the charge decreases, then it becomes the current. So basically we are having two equation number 1 you can call it, equation number 2 that we can call it. Solving these two equations we can solve these two variables, one is I, another is q. So let's solve for the q first. So using these two equations we will be solving small q. So let's place the I value over here. So it becomes minus dq by dt is equal to q upon RC. Further simplification will lead to minus dq upon q, that's a separation of variable, and on the right hand side you will find 1 upon RC into dt. Now you can think of what the next step is going to be. In the next step we are going to integrate both the side. 1 upon RC being a constant, we can take them outside. Now the time has to run from 0 value to t value, because we started from 0 at this an instant t we are talking about this thing, right? Can you think of what the charge is going to be, or the limits of this charge? So initial charge to the charge at an instant. Charge at an instant is small q, and what is the charge initially? And you know the initial charge is capital Q, so we are going to write it as a capital Q. Now then we can make this integration. If we do this integration, we will find this is going to be ln, so it's going to be minus ln small q, and there's going to be limits. Limits will be run from lower value to higher value, that means capital Q to small q. And on the right hand side 1 upon RC, this is a constant, so that's outside as earlier, and integration dt will convert into t ultimately. Now we can further simplify this expression, and this minus sign I'm sending on the right hand side and putting the limits. So this there will be two terms, one ln small q minus ln capital Q. This is going to be equal to minus t upon RC, and then we will be finding it as ln. We can apply the rule of logarithm, in which the subtraction of logarithm leads to division of these numbers, q by capital Q. Then it's going to be minus t upon RC as such. Further, we can take this ln, or we can convert this logarithm into exponential term. So this will become small q upon capital Q is equal to e raised to power minus t upon RC. Finally, we will get to know that small q is equal to capital Q e raised to power minus t upon RC. Now this is an expression that talks about how the charge varies over the time. So this relates the charge on the capacitor at any instant t. Now if we substitute the t as a 0, that means just after closing the switch, you will find this e raised to power 0 will become 1, so q small q will turn up as a capital Q. That means as soon as you close the switch, the charge will be almost q on this, and then after closing the switch it will start moving in this way in the form of the current. Now if we place the t by RC a very large value, that means t after a long time or a steady state case, then you'll find e raised to power minus infinity will become 0, hence the small q will become 0. That means after a long time there will be no charge on this capacitor. Once the capacitor becomes completely discharged, so there will be zero potential difference, and resistance will also have a zero potential difference. Then this circuit will become nullified. That means this will have no current or no charge on it. right? So this is an expression which talks about how the discharging of the capacitor takes place. Now once we know this thing, we can also find out what the current in the circuit is going to be at any instant. For that sake, what we need to do, we need to simply differentiate this with a minus sign. So in the next slide, we will be representing this expression in graphical method, as well as we will try to understand its trivial values. So let's see in the next slide. So let's carry with this expression that we have got in the previous slide, that we proved that small q, that means the charge at any instant, is capital Q e raised to power minus t upon RC. We know from the previous video that we assume RC as a tau, which is known as time constant. So tau has a unit of time, that is second. And if somebody asks what is the maximum charge on this capacitor, so maximum charge you are going to find as a Q, and which is initially. So initially charge is a maximum charge. Over the time it decreases because it's discharging, hence charge goes down. So how this charge decreases, as per the graphical representation, we can see this figure. So I have plotted this small q on the y-axis and time on the x-axis, right? And this q max is indicating the q, the maximum charge, and this is the maximum charge with which it starts, and that charge is at equal to 0. Over the time it decreases exponentially. So this is exponential graph, and it becomes 0 at very long time. So that approaches to 0 after a long time, right? Now here certain values we can talk about, like at equal to 0. It's obvious, trivial, at equal to 0, or you can say 0 plus just after closing the switch. So when I say 0 plus, that simply means just after closing the switch. Then you'll find Q turn up as a capital Q. That means the charge was the maximum charge. And when we say at steady state, or after long time, or at t tending to infinite, all will have the same meaning. So I'm writing at steady state or after long time, you will find what we need to place t tending to infinity. So when I say t tending to infinity, then it will imply the charge will tend to 0. That means the capacitor will get completely discharged, right? And there is another one important time that can be asked, which is t itself is equal to tau, that is RC. So when t becomes tau, so this becomes minus 1, or e raised to power minus 1. So for that particular case, Q turn out to be capital Q e raised to power minus 1, which is basically capital Q divided by E. If we put the value of E, it comes out to be 0.37 capital Q. So that means when the time period, when this time is equal to one time constant, then the charge on the capacitor is 0.37 of Q, which is the maximum charge. This has been shown on this graph. When the T is equal to RC, the charge comes out to be 0.37 Q max. So that means the charge that remained in the capacitor is 37% of the maximum. So how much discharging has taken place? So discharging has taken place as 63%. So we can claim that 63% discharging, 63% discharging happens or takes place in one time constant, What this indicates basically is that discharging is very rapid initially. So when we say within one time constant 63% discharging of the capacitor has taken place, that means initial rate of discharging is faster. As the time passes, rate of discharging decreases. So basically it talks about that rate of discharging rate of discharging decreases. Can you connect what I am trying to say? You should be able to. Rate of discharging decreases, that means it is faster discharging initially, over the time its discharging becomes slower. So that's how within one time constant you will find 63% discharging has taken place, and for rest of the infinite time, rest of the 37% discharging will take place. So that's initial faster. Or you can think of, because we know this mathematical tools, if we draw the slope over here, we will find the slope will be higher in magnitude. As it goes down, then the slope tending to zero. So slope initially is higher, then slowly decreases to zero magnitude wise, right? So slope is the rate of discharging, right? Since this is a negative slope, so that negative sign is indicating discharging, and magnitude is indicating the magnitude of rate of discharging. Great. So that's about the charge that on the capacitor in case of discharging. Now we can talk about the current as well. Now if we talk about in terms of current, so we know the current definition was minus dq by dt. That means rate of discharging. So we simply differentiate this. If we differentiate it, there's going to be minus already, there's q. We know e raised to power whatever it is, that remains whatever, but that has to be differentiated as per the chain rule, so it becomes minus 1 upon RC. So if we carry with this, it becomes q upon RC e raised to power minus t upon RC. Now we know this RC is the unit of time, so q upon RC is a charge upon time, that's a unit of current. So we can say from here as an expression, the current I is equal to, we can say I naught or I max e raised to power minus t upon RC, or RC can always be written as a tau, so t upon tau. So that becomes the expression for the current in the circuit when the discharging of the capacitor is taking place. Here I have written this term I naught. So what the I naught is indicating, basically it is charge initially divided by RC. You will find this is I naught is going to be I max basically. So that's the maximum current in the circuit. Now you can say when you can see from here when the maximum current takes place. So you say like when this charge when the time is 0, so this will be I equal to I naught. When the time is long enough, then you will find current will become 0. So from here we can indicate obvious things, like at t equal to 0 you will find current is maximum, so I is equal to I naught. Maximum current runs just after closing the switch, so 0 plus you can say just after. And when the time is too large, that means it's infinite or steady state, then you'll find current will become 0. Why? Because we know there is no charge remained and no potential difference. Similarly, what we can do, we can say at t equal to tau, that means after one time constant how much the current is. So you can say it's going to be equal to, again you place the t equal to tau, so it's I naught by E, I naught divided by E, and we know this number will become 0.37 I naught, which will say current also decreases by 63%, and how much the current remains? It remains 37% of the maximum current. We can also show this current by a graph. So let's draw the graph. So the graph looks like this. I is the current in y-axis and t is the time on the x-axis. So initially when time was 0, the current is maximum. It starts from I naught. I naught is the maximum current. And what is the value of this I max or I naught? It's initial charge upon RC. And then it decreases and becomes asymptotic to x-axis. That means it tries to touch x-axis after a long time. And this popular quantum time, which is t equal to 1 tau RC, at this the value comes out to be 0.37 I naught. That says after one time constant, the current in the circuit is 37% of the maximum. So how much the current has decreased? Again 63% decreasing has taken place. That means we can say the rate of decrease of current is also faster initially and decreases over the time. right? So these graphs are important, these values are important, and how we are getting these relations, particularly two relation. This is the indicating the charge on the capacitor at any instant when the discharging is taking place. This is indicating the current in the circuit at any instant when the discharging is taking place. So this is about discharging of a capacitor which was initially charged, and these graphs are indicating the trend or the values through which or by which it decreases, right? So make your notes and go through it. If you have doubt or a question or queries, you can always comment or message me. Now, after learning this charging and discharging concept, let's try to use this in couple of examples. So here is the first example. It says find out current. So we need to find out the current in the circuit and charge on the capacitor which is initially uncharged. So it's an initially uncharged case, and situation shown in the figure. So this is a battery of 10 volt, this is a switch, and this is 2 ohm resistance, and this is 3 farad capacitor. So this is C, this is R. So we can call it as this is R, this is C for capacitance, and this is EMF or potential across the battery. So these are the notations. The first part, we need to talk about these quantities, current and the charge, just after the switch is closed. So let's talk about the solution, and in this solution we will talk about these points that have been asked. So first part, just after, that means T is just 0 plus. That means if it is closed at equal to 0, so what happens just after? Now we know in just after this is uncharged, so this will have a no potential difference. Since it will have a no potential difference, then the equivalent circuit will be simply this. We will have a resistance, and there will be no capacitor, there will be battery connected. I'm just trying to draw a picture of the circuit when this switch is just closed. So roughly this kind of circuit we can think of. Here this is indicating R and this is indicating E. So we can say how much the charge is as per the answer. Can we say the charge is going to be 0? No charge initially, hence at just after closing you will get no charge coming in. Moreover, how much the current is going to move? Yes, current is going to be there, and we can say by using the Loops law, IR is going to be equal to E. So what the I is going to be equal to? I is going to be equal to E divided by R. E is given as a 10 volt, R is 2. So from here we can find out the value of current just after the switch is closed, and which is 5 ampere. So 5 ampere current will be running and 0 charge will be on the capacitor. I think it's making sense. So we are just using the results that we achieved from charging of the capacitor concept. Now B part says after long time when the switch was closed. So after long time, that means time is too long, that means it has got to infinite. After long time, we know after long time this capacitor becomes completely charged. Since it becomes completely charged, it will not allow any current through the circuit. So how much the current in the circuit will be? We say current stops through the capacitor, so current becomes 0. And how much the charge will be on the capacitor? We know the charge will become maximum, and this maximum charge is E into C. So after long time the charge becomes maximum, which is maximum charge is EC. E is given as a 10 volt, C is given as a 3 farad. So answer becomes Q is equal to, which is maximum charge, is going to be 30 coulomb. So the final answer will be 30 coulomb as a charge, 0 current. And in the first case we found charge to be 0 and current to be 5 ampere. So we can use the result that we have talked about, and we can answer this kind of questions. Here is another example, and it reads find out the current I1, I2, I3. So this is I1, indicating as I1, this is I2, this is I3, and I1, I2, I3 have been shown in the figure. And also we need to find the charge on the capacitor, that is Q. We need not to find this Q, rather we need to find dQ by dt. That means at what rate this charge is changing in the circuit when it is initially uncharged. So initial charge has been shown as a 0. And the following situation. First situation is just after the switch is closed. So here is the switch. This switch has been closed at, let's say, t equal to 0. And after a long time the switch has been closed. So we can say if this is a switch, this is a battery, and the current I1 is coming over there, then it's getting I2 over this, I3 over this, then combined together, then becomes again I1 and completing the circuit. Now this Q, the rate at which the charge Q is changing, that means dQ by dt, it's basically is going to be equal to I2. So whenever we need to find dQ by dt, it's simply I2. So basically we need to find I1, I2 and I3, 3 currents, and for the 2 cases. So let's see how the solution going to be. So we can solve this by using the rules that we have learned in case of charging of a capacitor. We know for a portion, when the switch is just closed, that means t is just 0 plus, that means time t equal to 0, it has gone a little bit ahead of the t equal to 0, then we can say the uncharged capacitor will have a no charge on it. Since it will have a no charge on it, that means Q will become 0. Since Q is going to be 0, you will find there is going to be no potential difference. Since there is no potential difference, we can always replace this capacitor by a conducting wire. So the circuit for this time will be appearing like this. So let me draw the circuit for this particular situation. There is going to be a resistance R1, then there is R, and then there is going to be resistance on this branch, there is going to be resistance on this branch, and the capacitor which was here will be just like a wire, so we can replace it by a wire. That means it will behave like a conductor, and on this part we will find that there is going to be a battery as such that is connected, and this will become the circuit. So this circuit will be appearing like this. This is EMF, this is resistance R, this is resistance R, this is resistance R. There are certain quantities that we are looking for is this current I1, the current over here is I2, the current over here is I3. Now this is simple resistance circuit which we can solve to find what I1, I2 and I3 are going to be, right? So we can claim to solve this, we can claim that this I1 is or this I2 is going to be equal to I3, because they are identical, they will have same potential difference. Moreover, we will be having equation like I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. That's a junction law for current, and then we can apply a Kirchhoff equation or loop equation on any of the loop. So that loop equation, let's say we start from here, this will be plus, this will be minus, so we can write it as I1 R, and if we are passing through, let's say, outer one, so this is going to be plus I2 R, and minus E is equal to 0. So using these equations, we can find out what I1, I2, I3 are going to be, right? So let's say using these first two, we can write I1 is going to be equal to 2 times I2, and if we place the value of I1 on the this third equation, so this will become 2 times I2 R plus I2 R is equal to E, which ultimately leads to I2 is equal to this will become 3I2, so it's going to be E divided by 3R. So I2 will have a value E divided by 3R. Once we know I2, we can find what this I1 is. I1 is going to be 2 times I2, that means 2E divided by 3R. And once we are getting I1 and I2, we can also find I3, because I3 is simply equal to I2. So and I3 is coming out to be E upon 3R. So point is, we can find out all the three answers for I1. This is for I1. For I2, this is I2, and this is I3. Making sense? So this is how we can solve this part A just after switch is closed. So crux point here is, when we talk about just after term, what we need to do, we need to replace this capacitor by a conducting wire, that's all. And then whatever the circuit is left, we can solve that circuit to find the remaining quantities or asked quantities. And then now let's talk about the second part, that part B. Here we are talking about the time when it is long time, that means after very long time or steady state condition has been achieved. We know when this steady state condition has been achieved, this capacitor will now will get completely charged. So Q will become the maximum. It will not allow any more charge to come in. That means it will not allow currents to pass through it, right? So from this point of view, we can claim something, and we can claim that in this particular situation, I2 will become equal to 0. So there will be I2 0, current will be passing through it. Hence dq by dt will be 0. Moreover, since I2 becomes 0, using this equation, which is the junction law, which is always true, so that per the junction law we can claim I1 is going to be equal to I3. So if I1 equal to I3, we can apply the Loops law in the inner loop. So applying the Loops law in the inner loop, we will find it's going to be I1R plus I3R minus E equal to 0. Since we know I1 and I3 are equal, so we can say these two are terms, same terms, so it become 2 times I1R equal to E. So from here we can claim what the I1 is. So this I1 will turn out to be E divided by 2R. So this is what I1 is. So we have got I1. If this is I1, then we can claim what the I3 is going to be. We know I3 is same as I1, so it's going to be E divided by 2R. Now we have got the values of the desired quantities. That means we have found out what the I1 is, what the I2 is, what the I3 is, and what the dq by dt is. These are the quantities that have been asked in this question, right? So whenever we are getting a circuit in which the capacitor is connected, resistance and batteries are connected, a switch is connected, then you will be asked generally two types of question. Just after you replace the capacitor by conducting wire, solve the circuit, and after a long time you say that the current passing through that capacitor will be 0. Mind it, current passing through that capacitor will be 0. So the reason is this capacitor does not allow any more charge to come in because it has get completely charged, right? So it will not allow any charge to come in, so the current in this branch will be 0. That's why we pick this I2 to be 0. And then not I1 is a number which is non-zero, I3 is a number which is non-zero, but the current in this branch becomes 0. So if you have got this crux point, that's good for the question. And that's what we are looking for in examination. You are going to get this kind of questions. You need to simply answer just after and long time. These are the two widely asked questions in the examination. Let's see one more example of similar sort. Here is the example. It says at t equal to 0 the switch S1 is closed. So this switch has been closed at t equal to 0. So let me place at t equal to 0, this is being closed and remains closed for long time. So after till long time it is being closed, and in this process S2 remains open. So this was open, so let me make it open initially. So initially this is open. So let me write over here, initially S1 is closed and S2 is open. S1 we will be writing in the solution. So let me read it first. So initially S1 is closed and S2 remains open. Now what we are doing, we are opening this S1 and closing the S2. So S2 is being closed, S1 is being open. Then we need to find out these things. First part, we need to find the current through the capacitor immediately after that moment, and the charge on the capacitor after long time of that moment, and the total charge that has been flown from this battery after S2 is closed. So let's proceed for the solution, and there are several points to talk about. Initially S1 was closed for a long time and S2 was open. So if S1 was closed, S2 was open, then for us the circuit was simply this one. So this part was the circuit for us initially. So let me draw that circuit that we had initially, or for the first part, or that we had initially. Then we will solve this one, second and third parts, in this we are having one resistance, and we are having this battery which is have a positive terminal, negative terminal, and then there is a one capacitor that's connected. That's all. So circuit will appear like this. E is here, R is here, C is here, and this is the circuit initially. And since this circuit remains for a long time, that means after a long time we will find this will get completely charged Q, and the current will become zero ultimately. So ultimately current will become zero after a long time, and this Q will be there. And what this Q will be equal to? Q will be equal to C into E, or we can say E into C. Now it says, let's talk about the first part then. Question, focus on the question. Question says current through the capacitor immediately after that moment. Now that moment is a moment when when S is opened and S1 is opened and S2 is closed. So that is the moment. That means after this. So once this has been charged, then this we are connecting with this another circuit. So then how the another circuit is going to look like, let's draw over here. So after that moment the circuit will be appearing like this. So there is going to be a capacitor. This capacitor will be connected with this S2 switch with R, and then there will be a battery which will be having lower potential and higher potential like shown in the figure, and then this will be connected like this. This is also R resistance. This is twice E EMF minded, and this is the same capacitance. Now this capacitor will at that moment will have a charge Q, and initially it will be having this as a positive charge, this as a negative charge. So for first part, which is just after, then just after we are going to get this circuit working, and the charge will be Q, right? So since the charge is Q, we can say at this instant what will be the current running in. So we can say if the I current runs, so that I is going to be like this, and we can find what this current is going to be. Still the charge is Q. So it will be, if we are moving along the current and writing the potential differences or drops and summing it to 0, so this is minus, this is plus, and we will say this is plus, this is minus. Its plus minus have been shown here. So we are, let's say, moving from this capacitor, so this capacitor will have a potential drop of minus Q by C, and then resistance will have drop of IR. And when we are moving from here to there, so it's again gain, that means it's going to be plus twice E. That's going to be equal to 0 as per the Kirchhoff's law. Now Q is equal to C into E, so we can say this is minus E. So if you watch, this is going to be equal to minus E. Let me reconfirm this equation how I have written, and if there is any correction, let's make that. So if we are proceeding from here to here, it's going to be from minus to plus, so there is a gain. Because of this gain, I have written as a minus Q by C, and there is a drop, so of drop of IR, so plus IR. When we are moving from here to here, so again we are moving from minus to plus, so here also there is a gain, so it should be a minus version. So there has to be this minus 2E equal to 0. Now if we carry with this, or we put the value of Q, then you will find this will turn up as minus E plus IR minus 2E equal to 0, which we can simplify as I is equal to, ultimately it's going to be 3e that side, so that's going to be 3e divided by r. So the first part, that is looking for the current just after that moment through the capacitor. So this capacitor will have this current, and since this came out to be positive, so the sense of the current that has been shown in the figure is correct, right? Now let's come to the second part. Second part is talking about charge on the capacitor after a long time. Long time after this moment. So after this moment, if you are talking about the long time, so after long time you will find this capacitor will be charged, because this current is coming here, so this plate will become positively, this plate will become negatively. So how that capacitor after long time is going to appear, let me draw over here. So I'm simply drawing the capacitor after a long time. So it will have two plates maintained, right? Plates will be there. Now this charge, this plate will become positive, this plate will become negative, and when the time becomes too large or steady state after that moment, so we will say this new charge is, let's say, q dash, and this q dash is going to be equal to, this q dash will be equal to, using this circuit, this will have a same potential difference as this, so that means it will be equal to C into this potential difference, so C into twice E. Basically we will find that final charge on this capacitor is going to be twice EC. So that's answer for the charge on the capacitor after long time, starting from that moment when the switch was shifted or this S2 was closed. Got it? Now once you have got it this, then we can find out or give the answer of the third part. So let me give the answer of third part over here. So there's just a separating line, and that side we are solving the third part. So this third part says we need to find out how much the charge the battery supplied. It says find the total charge that flown through the cell 2E S2 was closed. So after that purpose, right? So here the current has gone, so that means there must have a charge gone. Initially this has a charge CE, and having this positive, this negative. That means if we look at this negative plate earlier had a charge minus CE. Ultimately it has a charge 2CE. So this plate has got the charge certain amount, so that this charge minus CE became twice CE. So we can say, let's say Q charge has been supplied by this battery. Q charge has been supplied by this battery total. So this Q charge when added up, we can say this minus Q charge was earlier on that plate. On this small Q charge has been added up, so that the final charge becomes this positive. Positive means Q dash. So it was initial charge on this negative plate, and small q charge went into this plate, so that the final charge became q dash plus q dash as per this calculation. Now we can carry with this and find out what the small q is. So this becomes minus EC and plus q is equal to q dash, which is 2CE or EC. From here we can calculate the small q value. If you calculate the small q value, it comes out to be 3EC. That means this battery will supply 3EC charge in this sense, so that the charge on this capacitor will be now of this type. That means first CE charge will be changing this polarity, that means nullifying the total charge which was initially carrying, right? And then the 2CE will be accumulated in this form, so that this becomes positive, this becomes negative. So in nutshell, it has to supply 3CE, whereas the charge on the capacitor will be 2CE. So where the CE charge went, this CE charge went to nullify the polarities which were earlier opposite, to change it to this polarity, right? So this is the answer for the second part, this is answer for the third part, and the first part we have answered as this. So this is one more example in which we are using those concepts, how capacitor is completely charged and what happens when it is uncharged initially and finally. So just go through, make your proper notes. If you have doubts, ask. So for this video, this is sufficient, and that's all. Thank you for watching. Have a great time.